Hello, and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover a bit of news, and then the LPL Loser finals that occurred earlier today, then preview the LCK Week 9 Day 1. The news, D plus Kia have swapped coaches. At this point in the split, very reminiscent of what T1 did last year, except T1 did it a little later, swapping out Polt for Bangy before Worlds. I feel like this is way too late, but D Plus have shown signs of a little bit of dysfunction, swapping out supports recently, with Bible and Kellen going back and forth. Given the state of that team and the players on it, I would have just rather let them play it out, but I digress. So Bubbling is their coach. Bubbling is a former LCK player. He has been on one LCK coaching staff at one point, at least according to Leaguepedia, going 11-7 with Damwon Kia in 2022 for one split. Otherwise, he was the Challengers coach. The Challengers team is disgusting. Thanatos, Lucid, Polbey, Rahel, and Bible. And you may say to yourself, but it's a Challengers team. You name all 5 starters of a Challenger team off the top of your head. It's not easy. And that's because usually there's some pretty, players on there. This is the prospects, right? Their prospects are just making a name for themselves. Damwon Kia, D plus Kia, their Challengers team has, in my opinion, after seeing Bible play more, 4 LCK players on it. And then Polbey, I feel like I need to look into him a bit more. But Rahel, I think's honestly just as good as Pays is, at least statistically. Now, obviously, Rahel played one series and struggled. That was one series. Lucid is cracked in the jungle. Thanatos is fantastic in top lane. He should be playing over Kana, in my opinion. Kana has turned it up lately, so, I'll kind of back off on that, but I still think Thanatos should have been the starter a couple months ago. Regardless, that's why Bubbling is the coach now. Now, Acorn was their coach only for this year. So far, he went 22-12. Over his entire career, he is 97-100 as a coach. Formerly coaching in the LPL in the beginning of his career, and also with Kingzone and KT for multiple years. So he didn't even last a full year with D plus Kia. Recap: LPL, LNG, BLG. Predictions: I'm 245 and 122. What does that mean? That means I thought LNG would win this. This is not a big surprise to me. LNG win 3-1. Scout 22-7 and 22, 32% of damage. Gala 15-3 and 32. Elk 13-11, 16, 35% of the damage for BLG. Game 1, BLG won. Before I go to work, I'm able to watch the first game when these series start at 5 o'clock or even earlier than that, because I end up leaving and getting ready for work around 6:30. And on the Discord, a lot of people hyped about BLG's game and this and that, and how it was one-sided, and I really didn't feel that way. BLG slow played it like a Brion game. It was very old style LCK, 5-1 in kills, but BLG had a massive gold lead. And I realized after watching this entire series, when the game was at a standstill, BLG are the better team when it comes to getting gold. They're the better team in lane. Bin and Dazika. I thought Scout's better than Yagao, but the bot lane of BLG I think gets better gold in an even game state. And we saw that again in game 4. So in game 1, when nothing's happening and BLG are, just slowly building a gold lead and Tarzan's not making anything happen, LNG lose, and that was pretty simple. Game 2, I thought Yagao was able to play well on the Jace, but in a loss. Scout was MVP, by the way. I didn't mark it down. I was supposed to. Scout was great in games 2 and 3. I thought he was just he was a big reason they won. Game 3 on the LeBlanc was outstanding. Game 4 on Tristana, he struggled in the early game, but found a way to then get going in the mid game and then take over for the late game. Tristana mid is one of those picks where I feel like it's, in my opinion, it's one of the better mid picks right now. If a player is decent at it, that pick is very scary. As far as bot lane's concerned, LNG and Hung, Gala and Hung actually got 2v2 killed by Alkanon in game in one of the games. I think game 2. Maybe it was game 1. Either way, in the 2v2, I thought BLG did fine, if not better than LNG. But Gala was very good on the Xayah, very good on the Kesa. Obviously, that is Gala's bread and butter, is Kesa. And, you know, in team fights, out team fought Elk, and I won't deny that. But I thought in lane, BLG was able to put up a fight. It was just, especially in games 2 and 3, Tarzan was just more active and made the game a little chaotic. And in chaos, LNG were better. Zika looked great on the Gnar. In game 2. I thought Bin definitely non-existent, relatively speaking, especially when you think back to the last time they played. Bin was the MVP, going 16-0-2 if I recall. This time it was very much not the case. And in game 1, they went after Zika, which was the reason why BLG got out to a lead. They did make something happen in top lane. Tarzan attempted something bot lane, and it didn't work. And in the end, like, he blew a sum, but then didn't do anything with it, which is why when teams blow sums, I don't nearly value it like a kill, because sometimes those teams can't make anything happen with the blown sum. Where a kill, you have the gold. The gold's there. You know how much it was worth. So after that, BLG just stopped really playing that way. And Zika and Bin were on an island, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, at the end of the series, they're like, oh, the miracle for LNG. It was like, this is... BLG beat LNG during the regular season 2-0. Okay. LNG are 12-4. They're not a bad team. This is not an 8-8 team, 9th seed, making a miracle run. This is a team with one of the best junglers in the world, one of the best mid laners in the world, one of the best AD carries in the world. Like, there are 3 players on this team that are definitely top 10 in their role, and if not, for some, top 5 in their role. Like, this is a very good team. Now, BLG are no slouch. It's a very good team as well, but it's not... It wasn't a big gap, especially when you think about how LNG played into JDG and BLG played into JDG over the last week. So, yeah, LNG win. I will say, same thing. I did say this when I did mention the BLG thing. If LNG beat JDG in the finals, I will not believe that LNG are better than JDG, because JDG continue to beat LNG. So, because of that, actually, I have to look back at spring. Maybe LNG, well, it's not the same team. Not the same team. Sneak peek for tomorrow, LCK, T1 KDF. T1 17th in the power ranking, 7-9, coming off of a loss to KT. KDF 4-12, coming off a loss to D+. I believe Faker is back. Poby was playing for the Challenger team the last couple days, so it makes me think Faker is returning. They did say he would come back this week or before playoffs, so I'm assuming he's playing. Last time they played, T1 1-2-0, Gumayushi 15-3-13, 34% of damage. Taeyun 3-10-3, 26% of damage in the loss. Nongshim and D+, Nongshim 5-11, coming off of a win against Bro. D+, 9th, 10-6, coming off of a loss to Gen G. Last time they played, D+ 1-2-0. Showmaker technically had over 1,000 DPM the last time they played, but because Quad was in that one and Fiesta's been the starter lately, I don't believe Quad will be the starter, so that's irrelevant. Deft 10-4-5, 23% of damage. Jiwoo 8-6-3, 30% of damage in the loss. So that bot lane matchup was actually pretty close. Both AD carries going positive, and you know, for a team to get 2-0'd and still have a player going positive, that's a good sign. So maybe closer than records indicate. So yeah, that's it for the roundup. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter. Hope to see you again tomorrow.